Hey everyone, and welcome to Backseat Sports. I'm Josh, and that is Caleb. And boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this has been one heck of a week for Nebraska football. My goodness, as you may know, Nebraska took a little bit of a beating on Saturday night versus Ohio State, and we're here to talk about it. What's going on, Caleb?
Another year, another national televised beatdown, Josh. We predicted we'd lose. It sucked predicting we lose. It sucked losing. It was a fun day, though, like, besides the game. You know, Josh and I, we went down college game day very early in the morning with very little sleep. It was a really good time. Got to meet a couple people that was all down there. That was pretty cool. I tailgated afterwards. Entered the stadium, the electric. It was a buzz. And, man, all the way until that pretty much third turnover. And even afterward, when we scored a touchdown, when we hadn't scored.
Oh, I know, man.
It was still electric. Like, and there were still people. Everybody was still in the stands in the second half.
I mean, it was cool to see. Like, literally 80% of the fans were still there, down 41, 48, nothing even, you know? Like, it was, I mean, still a cool environment and, like, really, like, impressive for the fans to still be around at that point in the game. Man.
I really wish the stadium had a chance to, like, fully lose it.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Because, man, it would have been probably as loud as I'd ever hear at Memorial Stadium.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's all right. It's okay. Rain check, you know, we were 0-6 last year to start the season. We're 3-2 compared to last year's 0-6. Like,
I still think we can win 8 games this year. And, like, I mean, we have to talk about how good Ohio State actually is. I mean, we knew going into the game they were really good. And, like, this was a prove-it game for Ohio State. And they got the juice they needed by having it be game day. And they came in with their insane talent and played the best game they could play, an A++ game from them. They have 12 or more starting NFL talents and juniors to seniors that are going to go to the NFL. It's like they have 2 top 10 draft picks in Jeffrey Okudah and Chase Young. And they have, like, you know, J.K. Dobbins, Malik Harrison, Jordan Fuller, K.J. Hill. Even their punter's going to go to the NFL. So it's like they have so much talent on that team for us to expect to truly...
I mean, what's new? I mean, Ohio State sent, like, the most people to the NFL the last, like, 3 years anyway. Like, you know, more than anything, it was just the hope that maybe Ryan Day or Justin Fields wasn't as good as advertised was kind of the hope. Maybe we can expose some things about Justin Fields. Man, none of those things happened this week. You know, nothing.
I mean, again, there's been games in the past where Ohio State has blown out really, really good teams and great programs in games that should have been close or were advertised to be close, and they just weren't. I mean, you can list them off. Like, there was a 59-0 win against Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship.
How embarrassing. We've never lost that big in a Big Ten championship.
I know, but I mean, like, you know, they put 38-10 on Penn State in 2015, 42-13 on Michigan in 2015, 48-3 on Michigan State in 2017, and they put up 63 points on Michigan last year, who was a 10-2 team. So it's like,
with the top defense in the country.
When Ohio State has something to prove, generally they come out and prove it in a big way. And unfortunately,
it was us.
It was us this time. And obviously, this is not just some excuse to say, "Oh, Ohio State's great. We would have won against if it was a different team." You know, we did not play a good game. Obviously, we played a really, really bad game. Ohio State's a really, really good team, and I think most of the country expects them to likely be in the national championship playing either Alabama or Clemson in January. So, like, we can't just throw that out the window and just say, "Oh, well, we suck." I just don't think that's the case. I think we're still a solid team, and hopefully we can prove it this week against Northwestern. Right now, we cannot lose hope by losing this bad to literally one of the best teams in the country. And even Ohio State's fans are saying this might be the best team we've ever seen from Ohio State. Literally, those articles are going around this week. They were going around before the Nebraska game, and now that the talk has really started. I mean, I lived in Ohio for a few years, and I have a handful of friends who love Ohio State, and they say this team feels different than most of their other championship teams. So who knows? But right now, like, Ohio State's an incredible team. We can't just lose all hope because of a loss to them.
Yeah, I think it's twofold. I think definitely on one hand, Ohio State's great. And, you know, it's okay that we didn't win this game in the first place. You know, like, this doesn't hurt our Big Ten championship chances if we lose to this game.
Technically,
they're on the they're on the opposite side of the Big Ten. Still going to be fine, and we knew that going into the game. It sucks getting so outworked on your home floor when it's the most exciting game.
Getting stomped down that bad is painful.
When it's one of the most exciting games for Nebraska football in the last 15 years. And just to come out so flat and our offense to look so bad, it's just kind of a rough thing. And I agree. I still think we can win a lot of games this year. Looking ahead just to next week, Northwestern is a very beatable team. The record's not great right now. Obviously, we're going to talk about that more in our next video.
Yes, but a lot more.
Yes, a lot more in our next video. But these are must-win games, and we can build back some positive momentum. And Josh, right, the season's not over. We were not college football playoff bound. This team had way too many holes going in. It's kind of where we're at right now, but it's not like that we can't win games.
Right.
But
Going into the year, our hope was for a Big Ten championship berth. We kind of assumed it would be a rough champ. We just assumed that we're not going to be able to compete at the elite levels, but we have a chance to compete in the Big Ten West. And so obviously Wisconsin is right now at the tippy top, and they're the target. And kind of the goal for the next 4 weeks to get to that point to be competitive against Wisconsin's kind of the point now. But that hope is not lost. I mean, my goodness. We're just going to talk about the game now and talk about the positives and negatives about this game. There's a lot on both sides, I think. I mean, at the end of the day, Justin Fields had a 99 QBR in the game. Adrian Martinez had a 3.4 QBR. I think we're going to have a whole segment about Adrian Martinez because there needs to be. And I mean, at one point, Ohio State was at a 124-point unanswered streak because of their game last week. Moving into this one, they had scored 124 points unanswered. So it's just no normal team does that. It's insane. So at the end of the day, we had 7 3-and-out drives and 3 picks in the first half. That's not going to win very many games. You're going to get blown out in basically every single game you play if that's the case. And that's really what happened.
Yeah, I mean, we took ourselves out of it in the first quarter with the picks. Josh and I said in the video that we have to be positive in the turnover battle, and going that negative that fast, 17 quick points off turnovers, I mean, it's over. It's done. There's no way the defense is we said we had to double their turnover margin pretty much. So there's no way we're getting 6 turnovers on Ohio State. We couldn't even get one.
The most we could possibly afford in this game would have been 1 turnover.
One turnover.
To even have a chance. And we tripled that in 4 possessions. So
it hurts. It hurts. It hurt going back and watching them. The second one was just an amazing play, but it sucked because it was such a good drive. It would look great for a second. We were running and that I formation. It was really exciting, and a couple different ones. Our offensive line, looked really good for a split second there, and everybody was communicating well, and we were blocking pretty good, and run system was working well. And for one drive, it was like, hey, we can compete. We're down 14-7, but we're down 14-0, but we can get this point back, and it's a 1-possession game at that point.
Again, the offense was moving the ball in that first drive too. I mean, we were at midfield basically.
Yeah.
And then throw the pick. So it's there were opportunities there. At some point, though, you lose a little bit of that faith. Ohio State's it's literally like sharks in the water. They sense that blood and they come for the kill. And when you're handing the ball to Ohio State, they're going to come for the kill. And so,
you love to see it too. They were super aggressive, right before halftime as well.
I mean, they were
like, dude, let's put up another 7. It was. Yeah. I mean, that's what you love to see, that competitiveness from a team that they want to win. They want to win bad, and they're confident they can go put up points on you. And they did. That's where we want to be at, and we're not there. We got outplayed and outworked, and they looked like they had a better week of practice. They looked like they wanted it more. Man, it just sucked to get. There was a couple guys on our team who compete hard. We saw Darian Daniels. He was getting there working on the tape. When you look back, he was cracking guys on the offensive line, and he wanted that game the whole way through. And even in the second half was pretty nice to see from him. Cam Taylor made some really nice plays. We got reminded that he is a great piece for us to have in the future going forward as well.
I mean, defensively, I think we just talk about it as a whole. Third downs killed us. I mean, we couldn't stop Ohio State on third down the whole game. It was just horrible. Every single time we had a chance to end the run, third down came, and we couldn't make it happen.
And Ohio State had a perfect play.
Or we had a bad alignment or a bad defensive play call, or someone was misaligned that caused for the easy third down conversion. And it happened multiple times in the first quarter alone. Where we could have
got Ohio State off the field multiple times.
Yeah.
Stop them from getting points or keep them to a field goal. And we didn't.
Yeah, but instead Ohio State was 10 for 13 on the day on third down. And you are not going to win games against Ohio State when you're allowing them to go 10 for 13 on third down. And like Caleb said, we realize we still have linebacker problems. I mean, especially the outside linebackers. They couldn't get to the edge. Ohio State was killing us all day out there. And our
defense, Barry was saying, too, that for those linebackers, the offensive line did a great job for Ohio State getting to the second level. And watching the tape, they did. I mean, they knew exactly where to block, exactly what the play was, and they all did their jobs a lot of the time. I mean, there was a couple times we did get 3 sacks on Ohio State. We got to Fields a little bit, but man, for the most part, man, they were on point.
Well, yeah. And Mo was asked in his post-game press conference, what was the difference between last year and this year? Why were we able to compete last year, but not able to compete this year? And he said, man, that offensive line is different. And he said, we couldn't get anything going, was basically what he said. They were hungry. They wanted it more than they'd ever seen. It was the best offensive line that they have ever played against in his career. Mo praised him in that way. And, Mo's not one to generally praise teams unless they really are worthy of the praise. And that was the case. And on the tape, you definitely see it. Their offensive line truly did dominate us for most of that game. And it opened up the holes for J.K. Dobbins and for Justin Fields to throw the ball. I mean, there were times where Fields had all day to throw the ball, and you can't give him all day to throw the ball, or else he's going to tear you apart.
Absolutely. Ryan Day, they out-schemed Nebraska. We knew that they were going to have a lot of tape on us coming in, and they exposed some really nice things. That 3rd and 10 play really stuck out to me where they ran it with Justin Fields. I mean,
that was such a nice play.
It was as nice, and, it set up their touchdown. It was as nice a play as I've seen. But not only that, we got out-schemed there. They saw the weakness, and they absolutely got us.
But like what we talked about in our previous video was that we're going to have to rely on Lamar Jackson and Dicaprio Bootle on single coverage on the outside if we want to have a chance to get to Justin Fields and bring pressure. The thing was, Ohio State did such a great job of spreading us out. 0 running back sets, 5 out wide. Yeah, we saw so many bunch sets and trips out wide. That was a smart game plan, and it worked. It spread out our linebackers. It left Mo Berry in isolation in the middle, and we saw that even in the red zone where Justin Fields in that touchdown run. Mo Berry was left all alone. There was nobody else in the middle of the field besides Mo Berry, and Justin Fields is going to win that every single time. So those types of schemes is what really won them the game. We had to rely on man coverage, and it just didn't work. When you can't get to Justin Fields, you're not going to win very many games. And at the end of the day, that's just what happened.
I mean, Justin Fields is legit. But again, it's not about them. It's about us. And, it sucks that we weren't there. Our offense couldn't score points.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
The offense was the problem once again.
It's again been the offense who turns the ball over, gives short field positions. And again, you're not giving short field positions to Illinois this week. You gave them to Ohio State. And 3 picks, that's going to take everything out. It's going to rail. I really felt like if we could get to the second half, we could really make Ohio State feel it because they really haven't been in that position before this year.
We couldn't even get to the second quarter.
We couldn't get to the second quarter. Yeah.
Oh, man.
It just sucks. No. And it really sucks that there was no game plan that could have got us there.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, offensively, you have to talk about the offensive line battle up front. Chase Young had his way with both tackles. It was really bad. Oof. Farniok and Jaime just struggled all day long. We saw right at the beginning, Chase Young was lined up on Farniok's side a lot in that first quarter, and he really did struggle. They started switching it up a little bit more as the game went along, and overall the offensive line just was absolutely dominated, and that was the difference in the game at the end of the day. I mean, when a defense coordinator can only rush 4, and now you can game plan with 7 other guys to take care of the rest of that offense and take care of the weapons that Nebraska has, it becomes pretty simple. But not only that, when you have a top 10 corner who can lock down one guy all on his own, and then you can game plan around the other options. So either he was locking down JD or Wan'Dale all game long. Martinez was limited. He had nowhere to go. He was under pressure, has to roll out. Of course, it was a horrible decision on that play, on that first drive, to try to weave that ball in. It was picked off. Probably talked about that as well.
Yes. On one hand, it definitely was the offensive line's fault for sure. Josh is not wrong. Chase Young, if he was not getting a sack a lot of the times, he was at least causing a ton of hurt. He was causing so many hurry-ups. Yeah. He only got 1 sack, but he was about there most of the game.
He affected the play almost every single time.
Oh, yeah. It was to watch. On the other hand, Adrian Martinez, when he did have time, made bad throws. We haven't really been this whole season been able to see him sit in the pocket, take the hit, and make the throw. I have not seen Adrian Martinez do that at all this year. So if he's even feeling pressure at all, he is not going to make a good throw. He hasn't done it all year.
He just plays really uncomfortably.
I get it. You're getting rushed, but at the same time,
or he thinks he's going to be under pressure. Whether or not he is, he feels like it's going to come, or he's scared that he's going to get hit from the backside and fumble. Like, those are the things that are rushing through his head. And, like, you have to sympathize with that in some way. But at the same time, you can't make the excuses for the bad throws that he did make. And the problems, I mean, basically all 3 picks were, for the most part, on him. Even though he was under pressure on a few of them. Like, at the end of the day, those picks came down to Martinez's talent and ability to throw the ball and decision-making. And
the guys were open. He was throwing
Martinez.
him too. He made the right decision on the throw, but he couldn't execute. He was overthrowing guys, and we've seen it a lot this year. And he's doing this weird, like, hop, jumpy throw thing. It kind of looks like he has, like, almost the yips. He doesn't want to miss.
He's scared of something, whether that's, just making the mistakes, whether that's getting hit, whether that's getting injured. Something in there is messing with Adrian's head right now. To be fair, there weren't that many throws that he really, really missed on. It was only a handful, maybe like 4 or 5, but great teams make you pay, and that was the difference in the game. Again, I'm not saying Martinez played a good game. He obviously didn't. There were moments where he did have nice plays, and he did play well, and there's still that potential is still there. I think we have to address the thought that so many Nebraska fans have this week. A lot of Husker fans want Martinez benched, and I personally don't agree with that at all. I think Martinez deserves to be out there still. It would have to take a horrible performance in Northwestern for me to consider benching him, and I just don't think that's in the cards whatsoever.
Again, I don't see practice. I don't know who's behind him. I don't know the quarterback race behind. We know Vedral's a solid quarterback, and we've seen that, he has the most experience under Frost's system. I do agree with Josh that, Martinez has the most talent and the most upside of our guys. Well, besides probably McCaffrey, who probably has that amount of upside, but, he doesn't have that experience yet. I don't think we should bench him either, as terrible as a performance as he did play. But at the same time, he's leading the country in, like, turnovers.
He's tied, all right.
He's fine. He's tied first for turnovers in the country.
No, yeah, he has
right
9 turnovers. He's tied with Bryce Perkins from Virginia with 9 turnovers.
If he keeps it up, and it's again early in Northwestern's game where he's going to turn the ball over, at some point you have to address it, and you do kind of have to punish the kid for turning it over. At some point it's unacceptable.
Is more used as a wake-up call than like a "we're done with you" type thing.
Oh, I don't think. Oh, we're never. Even if we bench him, we're never gonna be. I don't think he's gonna be in the conversation.
Yeah.
Forever.
That's kind of. That would be the only situation where I would even consider it.
Just calm him down. I want to give. I also think if Vedral can be successful on a drive, that wakes Martinez up to be like, okay, it's not all on me, and if that's what he needs, like maybe it is. Obviously, I'm not done with Martinez. I think he's a stud. I think he's still going to be fine and great. It's not like an invalid argument what the people are saying to bench him, but like he's definitely not like damaged goods.
I just want to give Nebraska fans some hope, because I truly think Martinez can still be the quarterback to lead us to big time wins. And we have seen some incredible NFL quarterbacks struggle with turnovers in their career.
These stats made me feel better.
I mean, at the end of the day, Martinez at some point has to address this turnover problem. And, I mean, we saw it last year. It's a problem. I mean, he had 12 fumbles last year, or like balls that are put on the ground. Not actual fumbles lost, but fumbles on the ground. He had 12 last year. He's already had 6 in 4 games this year. So fumbling and turnovers has been a problem. But, I mean, let's just compare it to some of the guys that have been really good quarterbacks and have had great careers and winning careers in college football. Like 2017 Sam Darnold, 11 fumbles, 13 picks. 2017 Lamar Jackson, 9 fumbles, 10 picks. 2017 Daniel Jones, 11 picks. 2015 Dak Prescott, 9 fumbles. 2015 Patrick Mahomes, 15 picks. 2015 Deshaun Watson, 13 picks. 2015 Jared Goff, 13 picks. 2014 Jameis Winston, 18 picks. 2013 Johnny Manziel, 13 picks. So there's some great quarterbacks who have really struggled with turning the ball over in their careers. Obviously, a lot of these guys ironed it out at some point in their career, or, you know, it was just like an outlier year. So if Martinez keeps up the turnovers, that is a legitimate, real problem.
And most of the time, the thing is, all those players were worth the turnovers, and usually had the opportunity. I think another factor about it that I still think it's undervalued is we have really short wide receivers. J.D. Spielman and Wan'Dale Robinson are only 5'9". And you're throwing it over an offensive lineman, and they're running short intermediate routes, and you're tossing it over their heads, and you have to get it downwards to a guy that's 5'9". That's pretty tough to do. The throw to Wan'Dale Robinson, that was the tip pick. If that throw is to Stanley Morgan gets that catch, and it's a touchdown. That's the difference that, those benches makes. I think it is a real big factor into our team. It makes it easier. Like, We don't have a guy that's going to be able to go up and get it. The ball has to be so much more perfect because now the cornerbacks, the linebackers are all taller than our guys.
I agree. Obviously, it makes a difference. But like Jeffrey Okudah is 6'1", so it's like when you're trying to target like a guy like J.D. Spielman or Wan'Dale Robinson against a top 10 D-back who's 6'1", it's not going to be easy. And again, this is another reason why, like, if Adrian Martinez is going to have his worst game of his career, it's only going to make sense that it's going to happen against Ohio State in a situation like this. That's why I'm okay with what happened. Like, and I'm at peace with what happened because it's against Ohio State. If a game like this happened against Northwestern, then we have something we really have something to talk about, and we have real problems.
Yeah,
but because it's happening against Ohio State, because it's in this context, I can justify it in that way. But again, if it happens again against a really average team or a beatable team like Northwestern or even Minnesota,
we'll have to have a way more serious conversation.
We'll have a really serious conversation
about Adrian Martinez.
For sure. Our offense is just that young as well. Like, we've talked about this in the past. We talked about it a lot. We talked about it before this season. Our offense is so young. We don't have a senior on our offense. And when you're playing against that talented of a core with so many veteran leaders that Ohio State has, it's like, it's not an easy game. And for us, I think in a lot of ways, it's on Nebraska's fans for expecting this to be a game. I mean, the over-under was, 17.5 for a reason.
Well, the best scenario is to lose by, I think, a couple touchdowns and have a good showing.
At the end of the day, I'm just saying that we shouldn't have expected this one to be a really close game against a team that's this elite in Ohio State. Obviously, being down 48-0 isn't just some normal loss.
There are ways to play better and figure it out. And when it's a game this nationally hyped, and when we had we had such a big weekend with like Rick Ross and the basketball coming and college game day, and we announced the new facilities, and so this is a big night for recruiting, and we can pull down a lot of guys if this is a good showing and the crowd is loud, and we blow it like that, and we absolutely get dismantled. I think the fans have absolutely a right to be upset with how he played. I don't think we should be expecting the win, no, but should we expect a piss poor performance like that? I mean, absolutely no. There's no license. It doesn't matter who it is. I understand that it was Ohio State, and that's why I picked us to lose, because I know that they are a fantastic team. Like, the Sox don't deserve to get blown off you, and you can score more points than 7.
How I see it again, we talked about the blowouts from great teams. There's games where Ohio State is just that good and that unbeatable. Like I said, they can do this with way better teams than what we are, and they can put up the same score against way better teams than who we are. So that's why I'm not holding this game against us. And there's a lot of positives that we can take away from the game. I think there were a lot of players on the defensive side who showed that they can compete with the best talent out there. You have to consider our lack of veterans on the offensive line, or just on the offense in general. Like, there's so many like positives.
There's no calming presence. I mean, I agree.
Right.
Like, Adrian Martinez, who's kind of supposed to be that guy, isn't, and Matt Farniok's the other captain. Like,
yeah,
and they had bad games. Like, we don't have that consistent.
Yeah, and like you said, like defensively, I think Taylor-Britt played great. JoJo Domann was definitely competitive out there. Bootle, even though he allowed a touchdown,
True.
like for most of the game, he played really well and really wasn't burned in any sense. Darian Daniels really showed up, and I think he played a really great game. Caleb Tanner held his own out there. The Davis twins definitely were solid as well. So it's like defensively, we had some blown opportunities, and overall the offensive line, Ohio State just executed to a T offensively, especially with their blocking schemes, and that's what was the difference in the game. It allowed J.K. Dobbins to average what he averaged on the ground. That's where the difference was.
I feel the disappointment with the fans for just how bad we lost. There are still plenty of games to win. Ohio State is not the end of the world. We are only 5 games into the season. Like, there's so much football left to be played. Yeah. So much more to earn and prove.
We're only 1-1 in the Big Ten,
Yeah, we're 1-1 in the Big Ten, and we got, again, very winnable games. And the other games are at home. We can get this offense figured out, get this youth some experience. If our defense can keep build on the positives that they have, we can still be a very good team this year. And you know what? There's if we can turn it around, again, just take it week by week, game by game, we might have a chance to give Ohio State one last shot at it at the Big Ten and say,
that'd be a sweet opportunity.
Yeah, so don't let this get you down too much. Like, the West is very winnable, and I think our team's right in it and experienced enough to do it. And I still think Adrian Martinez is the guy to to get us there in the end. He saw what he did second half against Illinois and put up numbers.
He can get to that level. Yeah.
And again, he showed that he can compete at the end, and he's pretty clutch at the end. Look at the Iowa game last year. We needed to go for 2. We got those points. He's a competitor. I think he can be a winner. I feel like he feels too much pressure right now, but I think he can bounce back from this. And I think the offensive line is going to continue to get better. And they got to step up, and their week-to-week practice has to be hard for the rest of the season. Let us know what you have to think. Is it over? Are we doomed? Is it fine? Are we going to win out? Or are we going to win out, beat Ohio State, and go to the Natty? Like, what's going to happen here? Let us know. But as always, guys, we love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
We also love the Twitter support that we got this week. Love talking and hearing from you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a lot of fun. We had a blast. Always fun hearing and talking to you guys. We love Husker football. And as always, I'm Caleb. That's Josh. This has been Backseat Sports, and we'll see you next video.
See ya.